stood in front, right, madam? In front of the most famous, nay, should I say, infamous gate anywhere in the world. Traitors Gate, which was built on the orders of King Edward I because he required a safer, more useful entrance into the tower. Rather than use the narrow packed streets of London, where convoys could be attacked, stores stolen, or prisoners set free, he decided to use the River Thames as a highway. At high tide, boats would pass through these gates and unload their cargoes in safety. Therefore, this gate was originally known as the Watergate. Americans? Don't be like that. We had ours before yours. And you'll notice ours has got a lot less holes in it. It was during the Tudor period that it gained its notorious name Traitors Gate. Because if you're on trial at the Palace of Westminster or London's Guildhall and found guilty of high treason, you'd be brought down the river in an old barge. As you pass under the old London Bridge, if you were to look up, you'd see the heads of other traitors on display. You then would have passed through these grim gates, where you'd be met at the bottom of the stairs by the Yeoman jailer and an escort of extremely handsome Yeoman warders. Why are you laughing, madam? You then would have been taken through the archway of the infamous Bloody Tower towards the dungeons or cells to await your fate. However, for most, it was a short journey directly out to the tower, up to Tower Hill, with a rendezvous with the executioner's block and axe. Amongst the many traitors to be brought through these gates were no less than 4 queens of England. Queen Anne Boleyn, who I mentioned earlier at the Bell Tower. Queen Catherine Howard, the 5th wife of King Henry VIII. Lady Jane Grey, the uncrowned queen of only 9 days. And I'll tell you more of their stories later. Finally, Princess Elizabeth Tudor, who I also mentioned earlier, and as you are aware, left the tower unharmed. Now, I'm not supposed to talk about it on my guided tour, but as I am the only male Scottish beefeater in the Tower of London, I will tell you all of one William Wallace.
Yay! Woo! Freedom!
Hate you English. He was dragged up these stairs, but he spent a lot less time than all of you have already in the tower, because he was taken straight out Water Lane towards Smithfield Market, where he's hung, drawn, and
quartered.
I love the way you Americans say it. Quartered! Yes, he was quartered. Now, I'll tell you who should have been brought up these stairs.
The English.
Mel Gibson. We would have tortured that Aussie to an inch of his life for his totally inaccurate film Braveheart. Mel Gibson would have you all believe when a man is lying on a cold slab of concrete, having his intestines ripped out, his heart plunged from his chest and placed on a hot griddle. Mel Gibson would have you all believe that a man, whilst dropping a handkerchief, can shout, "Freedom!" I think he had other things on his mind, don't you? It's okay, I'm alright, Composure. Any English here? Yeah, you're welcome. Right, now the first archway that you came through is the Bywood Tower archway. You would have walked under a portcullis or Norman drop gate. Weighs 1.5 tons. Dates back to 1326. However, the one behind you, beneath the Bloody Tower archway, is larger. Dates over 750 years old, weighs 2.5 tons. The reason why I will walk under it very quickly is because the rope that holds it up also dates over 750 years old. One day it's gonna go. On either side of the archway, about knee height, you'll see 2 metal spike curved bars. These are called Wellington's chairs and were installed on the orders of the Duke of Wellington to prevent soldiers like me hiding in dark corners, having a smoke on our pipe whilst on sentry duty. We quite like the Duke of Wellington, but he did spoil our fun. In the far left-hand corner, there is a metal mooring ring fixed to the wall. This signifies that the River Thames used to wash up against the base of the inner defensive wall behind you. Boats would tie up and moor there. In 1280, the outer wall was built. The road you are stood on was raised 12 feet, and the River Thames was moved back to its current location. If that hadn't happened, all of us right now would have been swimming in a bog-infested moat full of polar bears. Right, ladies and gentlemen, before I lead you into the oldest part of the Tower of London, I'm going to pick on you. Because we're going to talk now about the Bloody Tower. Originally known as the Guard Tower, as it overlooked and allowed access to the Lieutenant's Gardens. Its name was changed to the Tower of Blood, or Bloody Tower, to commemorate the many tragedies that have happened there. Surely the most tragic must be the alleged murder of the two boy princes. In 1483, the uncrowned King Edward V and his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, aged 12 and 9. Their little bodies were smothered to death whilst living in the upper chamber of the Bloody Tower, whilst under protection of their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who then became King Richard III. Have you got an uncle called Richard? Good. Don't trust him. Their little bodies were bundled down the stairs leading to the Wakefield Tower and quickly buried under a pile of stones. The following day, they were moved by an unknown priest to a secret plot under some stairs on the south side of the White Tower, where these bodies remained for 191 years, until during the reign of King Charles II in 1674, workmen discovered a hidden chest. They thought they were going to be rich beyond their wildest dreams. But when they opened this chest, what they actually found were the remains of two small skeletons. Experts of the day declared they're indeed the missing princes. So on the orders of the king, they were taken to Westminster Abbey and reinterred in Innocents' Corner, where they remain to this day. Now children, don't worry, that all happened a long time ago. Your mums and dads will tell you there are no more bad people out there, and they're right. They just hide under your bed at night. Sleep well, kids. I really like children. Right! I'm only kidding, by the way. Part like the Red Sea through the middle. I will lead, you will follow. We're about to go into the oldest part of the Tower of London, storming the inner Ballium defensive wall. You know what our war cry is. It is huzzah! I need to hear it. I need to feel it. 1, 2, 3. Huzzah! Excellent, let's go.
Smile.